Our current president, as you know, I'm not a fan of his. He utilizes, in my humble opinion, just based on the facts and the evidence and the history, he uses that is such a violation of the Constitution of the Emoluments Clause that it's really quite sad that more people don't raise that as an issue. If you're the president, you're elected, fine. How are you going to be the president of the United States and hawking tchotchkes? He's selling watches. He's selling all kinds of paraphernalia. While he's the president, he's promoting his business interests. That is really to run the country and to promote his own business interests while in office. I mean, those norms are gone out of the window.
Well, let me push back real quick, and I promise I'll keep it less than 30 seconds. I think the same vacation and not in the White House. That would be one example. Another example would be how about Nancy Pelosi and the advantage she has on the stock market, doing better than some of the best out there because of insider trading. Yet, you have other people who are traded for change. Martha Stewart, great example, right? And she spent some bit of time.
We totally agree that the Congress should be trading stock. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, totally.
So, you get the argument from me, my friend.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. No, I definitely see now. So I was way more left than I definitely was much more of a straight ticket Democratic voter. And of course, I will share that both of my parents obviously leaned more towards democratic values because that typically the party stands for that. So I definitely was a product of my parents, and definitely until I got older, owned my own business, started to see things, look at things a little deeper and read a little more into things. But I think it's difficult to get true information. I think that's the call to action that all of us should be demanding is truthful before you publish it. Really have truthful stuff before you put it out there, because people read the first news, not the second news that comes back later. We were wrong. Everyone remembers the first news that comes up. We make our judgments before we do our research on things, and I just would like all of us to do better at that. I mean, including myself. But yeah, I gotta go, but I hope you have a good evening. It's so good to see you, Haroon. I've been missing you, and look forward to hearing about your trip. I'll talk to you later. Talk to you, everyone later. Thank you.
John, before you go, where are you on stage? I hear your voice, I don't see you. Which one are you?
Right next to you on stage.
What? I see.
No, I'm diagonal. Yeah.
He's right beside you, to your right.
Yeah.
Which one? I don't see.
It looks like something. Yeah, it looks like something from a cost-selling commercial from the 90s.
Look to your right. Listen, you take your picture and look beside you.
Leave the room and come back.
I don't think you're here. Besides, I don't see you. But anyway, I agree with that. It was so refreshing to hear you and BT speak, because it's so refreshing to hear this. I mean, you guys get it. You get it. And when BT talks about, imagine the hubris. Right, me being in Mexico and demanding a sticker to vote in the Mexican election that says I voted. I mean, it's unheard of. Nobody does this with the United States. And King, I mean, I love you. I think you're a terrific lady. But for you to suggest that we have a right to secure our borders, I mean, who the hell, what country believes that? Well, of course we have a right. We have an absolute right. In fact, we have an obligation to do it. Right? We need to know who's coming in here. It's just absurd for anyone to suggest at any level that we should just allow people just to walk across our borders. We just can't do it. And this president is putting an end. Not only that, the people that shouldn't be here, he can't get rid of all of them, but he's getting rid of as many as he can. And you know something? People who did it the right way, they applaud the statue. They love to see it because they fled tyranny. They fled despotism to come to this great country. And they don't want that nonsense to follow them. So they agree with us.
They agreed with you until they started snatching their kids out from school.
True.
So, we're not simple thinkers. And I never said anything about powerful motivator. Hate for other people.
What you said, with all due respect, King, what you said was there are people who in this country who are illegal and they have children.
Yeah, this is something I saw on X. It says, a country run by banks will always be in debt. Healthcare run by big pharma will never cure disease. A state run by war will never know peace. A nation run by media will never know the truth.
Well, that last part is so true. A nation run by media will never know the truth. Who was that? MJ? Go ahead, MJ.
1 second. But yeah, listen, the immigration thing, this country's not going to survive without immigrants at all. It's going to go down the fucking tubes. Economically, never going to happen. And people who study economics know this. So the thing is, people want to find a real solution, a real process that actually works. You can't control, the United States cannot control its borders. If the United States can control the borders, we wouldn't have drug problem, right? But we have a failing drug war that's been failing for the past 70, almost 100 years, man. Let's keep it real. So, in this situation, you have no control over the territory that you call a border. You're going to have a process by which people who get over, right, are going to, find a way to integrate into society, because you're not going to be able to deport them all. You have to have a level of common sense when making these decisions and making these policies, and this is why they win you over on silly policy that they'll never be able to implement. They'll never be able to deport all of these illegals. They'll never do it. 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, it'll never fucking happen. I guarantee it. So, do you really want a solution to the process problem? Or do you want to let them leverage this issue for rhetoric forever, never solve it, and we just ping pong between people selling us dreams? That's the real question.
As a dear friend of mine used to say years ago, it's a bunch of entry and illegal immigration. Listen, any sane person would say, of course, the borders need to be secure. Of course, we need to interdict drugs and stop drugs, from porous borders. That goes without saying, and we'll say it just to be clear. And at the same time, there is a process for legal immigration, and it needs to be revised. And we do have laws that say people have a right to present themselves at the border and to seek asylum. And then there's a process to make a determination whether or not their claim is valid or invalid. But to shut down the whole process, I think, it doesn't serve, in my humble view, the best interest of this country.
It's not a solution.
Because we are a nation of immigrants.
It's a non-solution. So if somebody's presenting you a non-solution and you're going for it because it makes you feel good, it's very different than somebody actually solving for the problem of undocumented people in the country.
But politicians don't want to solve it. That's kind of the point. Either I'm mishearing, that's what I'm hearing you say. You may not be saying that. I may be misinterpreting. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
So they don't want to solve the problem, because just like pharmaceutical companies, they don't want to solve disease.
They don't want to solve addiction. They don't want to solve that problem
because the profit is in the comeback, as they say. You come back for more. If you solve it, then that's the end of it. Now you go on and lose
a budget allocation if addiction goes away tomorrow. Let's talk Turkey. How many people lose millions if addiction gets solved for? That's a problem. That's a fucking problem. Because it's addiction addiction, mental illness, all these problems. These are the problems that are making Americans unproductive. It's the reason why an immigrant can come here and run laps, because they don't have that particular problem in their country. But people don't want to address the cancers of America. They just want to slap pretty band-aids on it and get elected. Shit is crazy, bro.
It's professional can kicking. The country is literally completely broke at $37 trillion, but we're not insolvent because of the Federal Reserve. We're the world currency, but, you know, it's immoral what we're doing. It's unethical. It's not a fair bargain for the citizens. And it's your congresspeople, it's your congressperson and your senator, which continually passes acts in the $1 to $2 trillion range, creates pandemics, scandemics, and lies to you through their fucking teeth and screams about it. Senator Warren, Senator Sanders, Warnock, they're all fucking degenerate, scum-sucking pieces of shit, and they keep getting elected, and it's unfucking believable. It's we the people that are the stupid people in this game. It's all these winners in Congress and the Senate that have $30 million in their campaign checking accounts that are literally beating you over the head with spam, propaganda, and lies.
Thank you, John. Revelation, I saw you coming off the mic trying to say something. All right, guys. Well, I said I was going to shut it down in 30 minutes. We're nearing that time. So in about 4 minutes, I'm going to shut it down. If there are no... Okay, go ahead, Revelation.
Thank you. I was away for a bit and I had bad signal. I missed a lot. I wanted to respond to people who criminally entered the country or overstayed their visas or what have you. Or I hear extremely high crime areas of the United States that, oh, actually, there's nothing you can do to stop crime. And then there's this weird gymnastics of like, oh, well, maybe the crime is going down, but it's not going to stay down. It'll go back up as soon as the troops leave, which is, to me, just an argument of, okay, so how do we, now that we've gotten crime down, how do we restructure so that it stays down without troops? But, like, that isn't how the argument goes. It's just like, oh, Orange Man bad. We need him to stop this right away. We need to, we always said these problems were unfixable. And then as we see them fixing, we're actually crying that they're being fixed because we convinced ourselves these problems couldn't be fixed, or we don't like the way he's fixing it. But in a century, we haven't offered any viable solution to actually fixing them ourselves or through the politicians we've been voting for. So I don't know. People need to figure this shit out, but I've traveled all around the world. I've been to places that are much worse than the United States, and I've been to places that are much better than the United States. And I can tell you, it is possible for the United States to be a much better place as far as crime, as far as health, and as far as someone mentioned, productivity. All of these things are possible, but the same playbook we've been doing the last century isn't going to get us there. Thank you very much.
What countries were better than the United States situation?
You're asking me what's better than the United States?
Which countries?
Recently I was in Japan, Switzerland, all of the Nordic countries, Canada in certain respects.
What are those countries doing differently than the United States? Japan and the Nordic states in particular.
Ask me on which dimension, and then I could go into it. But there's a lot of things.
Wow. Which dimension?
Well,
what did you notice that was better? Let's start there. What did you notice that was just so much better than the United States?
Well, for instance, when I was in Japan recently, not only are things incredibly clean everywhere, but I saw, I'm not exaggerating, every single 5-year-old on the weekday was taking the Tokyo subway system alone by themselves, unaccompanied by a parent, across the city of 20 million people, knowing how to use the metro system, knowing how to get around, and there was no one at all concerned that these kids would be abducted, that there would be bad influences on these kids, that they would be harmed in any possible way, either physically or psychically, doing this every single day of their life. And that is not possible in any
dense metropolitan areas in the United States.
Sure, Double. Did you see military on the streets? Is that why they were so safe?
I can tell you, if they had one tent or even to establish safety, and then you can pull back the troops once safety is
question was, in the countries that you saw this safety, were there troops on the streets?
As I told you,
And are all the citizens armed?
Safety had already been established. No longer needed the troops. If you live in a war-torn, high-crime area, you have to first send in armed troops, like they did in El Salvador. They took out a $100 billion loan. Let me land my plane. They took out
Don't go to El Salvador. Let's stay in the Nordic countries in Japan.
Excuse me. I'm telling you how you go from high crime to low crime. El Salvador was one of the highest crime areas in the world a few years ago. Bukele borrowed something on the order of $100 million just for arms. And then he declared a martial law. He gave all the troops automatic weapons, and they swept the country. They already had identified who all the criminals were, and they simply removed them from society.
Break your handle on the cleaning function of your oven
so that
you can put it in clean mode.
El Salvador, they're on vacation. And
You missed the part about him bribing.
You will not be harmed.
You missed the part about him bribing the gangsters to stop.
You could not do that 5 years ago.
You missed the part about
Is the population,
called SEMA. It's like containment of terrorism prison. It's a gulag that they put all the prisoners in. That is how they established order and safety, so they can have a prosperous, wealthy country someday in El Salvador. But you have to start by removing terrorist criminals.
removing Bill of Rights? Yeah, you have to start by removing Bill of Rights. We get it.
You can call it whatever you want. Still have due process in the United States.
We'll see.
We have more than that. We have the 10th Amendment. We have posse comitatus. We have a lot.
But, people want to do, I think, I don't know if it was you. Yes, I think it was you in the previous room. I was amazed to hear the 10th Amendment brought up because, again, this is something brought up usually by very far-right people to want, who want things like ending gay marriage locally. They want to have as much abortion as they want. They want as many guns as they want. They want basically zero federal government oversight. But when we pick and choose, when it's like no others, our cousins,
The president cannot force
children.
unless there's an emergency. We have to have one mic, but we have to have one mic.
It's a very strange argument, but I mean, you can say that it's an overreach to send in the troops, and I would have tended to agree, but at the same breath, I would have said at a local level we have to end the crime. But if the crime just persists and persists across different administrations for decades, I think it is time that something be done. Thank you.
What's going to be done the next time there's a mass shooting
Hold on
in Texas?
Hold on one second. No, I'm getting ready to leave. I know you said you were going to close the room in 4 minutes ago. So if you're going to do it, I don't know how long you're going to hang out, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that, hang out as long as you can, because I think the conversation is fascinating to me, but I got to go. So have fun and keep it as long as you keep it. And everybody be respectful, and we'll see you the next time. I'm out. Blessings.
Thank you. I'm just giving everybody who's on the stage a chance to deliver their final remarks, and then I'm going to start shutting it down. But thank you. I think I mispronounced it earlier.
It's
so
okay.
It's
My friends call me H. It's Haroon. And
Haroon. Okay.
It's all
Right on, H. Right on. Well, have a great rest of your night.
All right. Thanks. Peace, fellas, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I think was that King who was speaking? Yeah, I was just asking Double, why don't we start with Texas and, trying to disarm folks so that they don't walk into schools and blow y'all kids away. So I think that, we only we're blind to some types of crime and we tolerate it. But for others who we see as less than us, take away our Bill of Rights. Don't fucking tread on us either, you know?
King, if you, I would be happy to support putting armed federal troops in all of the schools in Texas in exchange for, dramatically reducing the crime all throughout the city. I want what I saw in Japan, and I'd be happy to, honestly, I would probably feel better sending my kid, especially to a public school in America, although these shootings are happening, and there's crazy white people usually, insane white men.
And the Japanese are armed, double. They're not an armed society like we are.
Look, I'm not a 2A person, to be honest, but the 2A, just like the 10th Amendment is there, the Second Amendment is already there. Like, that's a tough battle to fight, but, I think even without changing the Constitution, it's possible to make it a safe country. Or a significantly safer country. And we have to monitor these lunatic shooters of all varieties, no matter what part of the country they come from or what motivates them. We need to monitor them. We need to make any targets they would have hardened targets.
When Sandy Hook happened, do you think that Obama should have sent the guard, regardless to whether or not the governor wanted him to or not, to protect the kids?
In retrospect, I would not have questioned the president on that. Who knows what I would have said at the time if I heard some propaganda on TV and, he's violating the whatever clause. But I think it seems like the Supreme Court these days is backing the president's deployment of troops domestically. And if I can go back in time, I would tell Barack Obama, like, hey, why don't we put some troops in every school in America?
Yeah, I find that ironic because it seems to me that Donald Trump has done everything that the Tea Party was afraid that Obama would do. And they love it. So, we know what would happen. Hindsight that we don't have, but we didn't have evidence that Obama had it out to run over constitutional rights, and people were still in the streets with their guns talking about don't tread on me. Now this motherfucker comes in the office and it's like, oh, well, here's our Constitution. Whatever we need to do to be safe, like, and whatever we need to do except for disarm, that is. But here, take our constitutional rights, but we're going to violence.
I mean, to the point of the room earlier, I guess today, there was some movement towards, I think it was a troll, but I think in this case, part of the troll is you don't know which way to go with this. It causes cognitive dissonance, but it's the argument.
Did you record all those pizza rooms and put them on YouTube or other platforms? No. Oh my God, you could have had a huge YouTube business after all those pizza rooms.
Is he in the Matrix or is it just me?
He's in the Matrix.
Okay, yeah, Double Agent, you're in the Matrix. Well, anyway, I guess on that note, we'll just start shutting it down. I was supposed to shut it down like 10 minutes ago. Sorry, Agent, you were in the Matrix. Are you back? Because I'll, you can land if you want. But if not, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, it's been a blast.
Some of the white shooters in red states by going along with this thing, but by resisting it, that's falling in the trap of like, okay, well, now you're defending gun rights. I guess we'll never change the gun rights then.
Right on, Double. You were a little bit in the Matrix, but I think we got the gist of it, hopefully. Community conversations and collaboration. This is JB's new house. So if you have a pink ticket, cash in the pink ticket. And he usually opens up rooms every day, morning and then evening, sort of evening, late night, depending on where you are. So I'm about to shut it down. Thank you for joining us today. And we will see y'all tomorrow.
You can relaunch it, and try to reconnect with the primaries and regrow it in a couple of weeks probably. But that's the problem with people coming here to just have these dopamine conversations. Today I had like a revelation. I was like, oh my God, I'm totally wasting my time even listening to these people. I have to read a book. So I read a book and then I felt much better. And I was like, it's really what you're choosing to do, whether it's productive or unproductive. Joe, I don't know if you noticed, I was told this, but you said the website called pizzabiz.com, and they sold how to start a pizza business, how to start a pizza restaurant business plan. Sold that for 10 plus years. They probably made 50,000 selling pizza business plan. Yeah, I had car wash business, pizza business, tanning salon business, hookah business. That was probably my biggest seller because I had hookahbusiness.com and I sold thousands of hookah business plans all around the world with people that wanted to start hookah lounges. It was really rudimentary. It was a PDF, and I basically bought business plan books, and I just typed up this giant PDF. I don't know, 30, 40. I just kept adding things to it over the years, and basically it was the same business plan, but modified for the specific business, like for the pizza, car wash. So it was technically the same over and over. Yeah, I would be willing to bet that even though people wasted $24.95 on the business plan, it was the first step in them putting it in their brain and beginning to execute on their desire to open their own business. Hush puppies.
deals from other companies
that have happened over the course as they have increased these vaccines.
And how about the autoimmune disorders? I mean, there's so many things actually that you don't really pay attention to until you become more aware. You're woken up. You're awakened to these issues. I mean, my oldest daughter, she ended up with an overactive immune system that if she had been given the wrong medication, that she could have died. So, I mean, this is kind of crazy stuff. This goes back 30 years for her. So we're talking at least 40 years ago that these things started happening. And if we would have been observing, we would have paid attention. But everyone trusted these vaccines to their own children.
I think a black woman's superpower is her tenacity. That's my take.
Okay, so like just a Christian prayer, right? I don't pray like Muslim or anything. I just pray Christian, and I have set times that I pray.
She's so angry. I'm about to look that up right now. Say it one more time.
All right, well, let me know before you get done with that. I ain't gonna cut line, but after that, I got something to review this language shit right quick.
All right.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm opening my shit first.
Damn.
He said.
You need a sniper.
No,
you
I'm trying
have
to
no
remember what she said.
ignorance.
She said, "Ask it with why did something reemerge after 2,000 years? What did she say? Why?
I'm tired of these niggas sucking your dick, Brooklyn. This shit disgusting.
This is a game I'm playing.
Did you just imply
Why did
Hebrew running for Congress?
You what? You talking about me telling Brooklyn you sucking her dick?
I'm asking you again. Did you just imply I had a dick in my mouth?
I mean, that's probably why you started.
I'm asking you again, nigga.
Yeah, you got Brooklyn dick in your mouth.
Get him out of here.
Nigga, now my dick in your mouth, nigga. Now my dick in your grandmother.
We ain't playing with niggas, bro. We ain't playing with niggas.
Running for Congress at 16 getting interviewed.
I think that's what she wanted me to ask, so I'm asking. Why did Hebrew, or when did Hebrew, why did Hebrew?
How are you doing today, Jeff?
George, I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing real good, too. I see you got the whole campaign and headquarters going there.
Oh, now we have, actually, John, what's this thing?
Well, God is the Word, and many people confuse the Word with something physical or objective when it's really subjective. And if you can't accept it, he kicked. Why did she kick?
Give me the lyrics.
I'm here, John.
Hey, Heron, how you doing?
Welcome.
I've been reading that little blue book in my PTR. I read it for about an hour and 30 minutes. I was listening to people on Clubhouse this morning, and I said, I had like a revelation. I was like, I can't believe I'm wasting my time listening to these people.
Yeah, when you could be reading something that can change your life.
Exactly. You have to force it. You cannot just be passive. You have to be active in terms of communication.
Well, life is complicated. How much of my own behavior am I actually in control of? I say things and then I don't always do. The whole situation is real tricky to me anyway.
Yeah. I don't know, it's amazing when you read this Marcus Aurelius. It's so smart.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Long time ago, too. I mean, the guy,
Yeah,
you know,
it reads like it's today.
yeah.
And every time I read it, I'm always, this is the thing about the brain, is if you've read a book multiple times, you realize that you can't really get a comprehension of the material really almost ever, because your memory is very limited in its capability for not just recall.
Oh, you can't read, but you can change the behavior patterns in your own brain, the way it deals with information. Yeah, there are limits, but the ways you categorize what information you have, all of that is available to be changed. And again, that's the whole thing I'm doing with language. It's literally the way we talk about all this shit shapes the way it happens.
Well, I booked my hotel, and tomorrow I'm driving down to this interview, and then I'm going to stick around town and try to get signatures.
So what time is the interview?
It's at 3:00.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
On what day?
Friday.
And you're going down when?
Tomorrow about 11:30ish. I'm going to hit the road.
Tomorrow's Friday. Okay, yeah. Tomorrow morning. Okay.
Yeah.
And you say it's how many? 6-hour drive, you said?
It's a 3-hour drive there, 3-hour drive
Oh,
back.
okay. All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But
your car is reliable and everything?
It should be. And I raised $600 on Clubhouse, so the hotel is paid for. I bought $100 worth of ink cartridges.
That has to be on paper. You can't.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? You can't do DocuSign. You can't do a digital signature.
Well, petitions, I mean, why can't they just be all online? What the fuck? Paper? God damn.
I know.
Well, we got a ways.
Isn't that fucked up? The petitions are paper, but the ballot is digital.
Well, the whole thing is bullshit. Again, we need to rethink our whole system of organization.
It has spun totally out of control, because at 37...
It never was really under control. Or when it was under control, it was within such constraints that don't exist anymore. The technology has changed the world fundamentally. The old rules just simply don't hold, given the new technology.
Well, if you read Marcus Aurelius, you realize it's more than just a technological problem. It is a character problem. There's just a lot of
that too. Yeah, that's just But that's a completely separate issue. But you're right. That's a fundamental one too. Again, it's how we form our identity. I mean, that's really what this is, and that's done with language.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You got a little baby, and the moment it's born, they start training it, just like we do large language models. They start yakking at it, and after a while, I showed up, and you showed up, and people show up after a sufficient amount of training. It's pretty interesting.
Listen to this one verse from Aurelius. He writes, it's one of my favorite verses. He says, "And to say all in a word, everything which belongs to the body is a stream, and what belongs to the soul is a dream and vapor, and life is a warfare, and a stranger's sojourn, and after fame is oblivion. What then is that which is able to conduct a man? One thing and one only, philosophy. But this consists in keeping the daemon within a man free from violence and unharmed, superior to pains and pleasures, doing nothing without purpose, nor yet falsely and with hypocrisy."
Oh, is that all it takes?
Well, that's the one thing about Clubhouse is you could be purposeless here if that's the purpose. But most people come here with no purpose, objective, or goal.
Well, yeah, of course, most people are a bunch of brain-damaged language monkeys. They're totally entranced by the voice in their head. There's not even anybody there most of the time. You're talking to an empty language machine most of the time. Not always, but
That's
you
what
got to be on
That's what the judicial system is like. Have you ever I had to talk to this judge. It's like talking to a stone wall.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. You have, I mean, I'm still working on how do you deal with that, because, I mean, some people really are impenetrable, and the sooner you realize that, then the strategy changes. You know, just get the fuck out of there as quickly as possible. Yeah, these are interesting times, aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, the now is all there's ever been. So when you read Aurelius, you're like, oh, well, those were interesting times. What's the difference between then and now? Nothing, because everything he
internet
says
is the difference. It's not the difference. The is one of the problems of language, but it's certainly a difference. A total game changer.
Yeah, speed and then quantity.
And all the technology, computer, the fact.
Cell phones in terms of our education and communication. You know, teachers should say, okay, everybody, pull out your cell phone. We're going to be creative. You know, open up your Instagram and we're going to do this. We're going to film.
Well, obviously, again, the education system gave us Trump. So, our education system is complete, utter failure and unnecessary, and we don't really need it anymore. What we need are conscious parents who know how to raise a child and how to use the available resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the education system is really unnecessary.
Well, I'm going to a college tomorrow, and their enrollment is through the roof, the highest they've ever had. 22,000 students.
What school is this?
Illinois State.
Okay, highest. And what are the students taking? Probably computer stuff, right?
He said that their nursing program has grown significantly.
Okay, so practical programs. Yeah.
I guess.
Those have always done pretty well. But people still think, well, nursing, everything always going to be really weird to see just how much of an impact AI and robotics has on the entire workforce, from one end to the other.
They say
for people to do.
They say nurses are responsible for more deaths in human history than any other group of individuals. Just think about how nasty people are in the world here on Clown House. Imagine going in somewhere and you get some nurse who hates her life. Next thing you know, you're her next victim.
Yeah. Well, listen, here we are. 2025. Earth is in the midst of a transformation like it hasn't seen in millions of years. This is a moment in Earth's life. It is crucial. We'll get through this, or we won't. It's really simple.
I mean, what do you think about the saying that there's nothing new under the sun and everything that has been has already been? So technically, there's nothing new really happening here, other than maybe the cell phone.
That's bullshit. If you really are, I'm not going to seriously do it, but if you take the proposition that's made there and start analyzing it, the whole fucking thing falls apart. Just from a linguistics point of view, it's bullshit.
Why do you say that? It's bullshit from the linguistic aspect.
Listen, I really don't want to go into it. It's too, there's other work that would be more impactful than taking the time to explain that kind of shit to you, because that isn't going to make one bit of fucking difference in the way you think. And basically, I'm here to subvert you. I'm here to recruit you as an Earthling. Since you're involved in this other process with the old system, that could be useful. So I want to recruit you. Yeah, you could be very useful.
That's what Epstein told his victims.
I'm sorry, what?
That's what Jeffrey Epstein told all his victims.
Told them what?
You're going to be very useful in my organization. You're going to have a very powerful, important position, and I'm going to make you wealthy. I'm going to make all your dreams. Would tell his audience, I'm not here to sell you anything, and I'm not here to convert you.
Is definitely not Jeffrey Epstein.
Well,
where do you come up with this shit, man?
Well, they had a press conference of all of Epstein's victims at the Capitol steps, and it's very interesting hearing women who have been abused complain about their abusers and say, he promised me this, he promised, and I didn't get that, and all I got was this, you know. Anyways, my point is, it's people want therapy, but they think that it's something else.
Just a bunch of brain-damaged language monkeys. Get over it. There's nobody home. They're large language models. They're just running their scripts and responding to the prompts they get. That's it. That's what's going on.
It's true, isn't it?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Some of us are beginning to become aware of that and wake up to it. But the vast majority of humans are entirely entranced by the voice in their head.
You know, there's really, I've worked in digital advertising for a lot of years, and there's only three relative positions. One is the advertiser, two is the publisher, and then three is the consumer. And so if you want to get ahead in life, you have to escape the consumer aspect and become a publisher or an advertiser. The advertiser can't exist without the publisher or the consumer, and the publisher can't exist without the advertiser and the consumer. So the smartest people are the advertisers, because they don't even publish. What they do is arbitrage their ad spend to net a profit.
Explain this to me. I just don't give a shit. Fuck that.
Well, it deals with the situation globally in terms of communication, and it's the newspaper
system
industry
is about to collapse. I don't care how it's organized or how people think. There's a new world coming. If you don't get that, then again, well, that's why I'm here arguing. People think this is some abstract bullshit that's going to happen in 100 years. I'm saying everything is going to change in the next 5 years.
Well, then
people aren't even talking about it. People don't have a clue what the fuck is coming down the road.
Well, you know what will remain the same in the new world is a username and a password.
That could be very useful. That's probably a good bet. I'll go on with that. Yeah.
I'm only saying that because
temporarily.
I'm only saying that because Google, you know, is the world's communication advertising network. It's the largest in the planet, but it requires a username and a password to access that platform. So if you think there's a new world, I'm saying that the new world will still be layered with the big tech companies.
Oh, I don't know if that's true. We don't know anything about what the new format's going to be. I mean, obviously, if you've never seen Metamorphosis, there's nothing in the caterpillar that would allow you to predict what the butterfly is going to look like or what kind of organism is. All you know is it's in the midst of this transformation, and you can imagine all you want about what's going to happen, but you don't know. And I don't know what's possible and what's not.
We know what's happening now, but we have
a story. We have a story, a partial understanding of some of the stuff we're aware of now. That's what we are aware of.
Well,
not much.
The now is a lot more accurate than the future, because there's never a future.
Oh, I know, but listen, we can't talk if we're going to play that game.
Well, we could just do a silent meditation.
Well, we could do that, but I don't need you.
Well, I'm prompting you. So, anyway, it's a joke. But anyways.
Well, again, the only reason I'm spending any time talking to you now is that I didn't really realize this before, but actually I'm here, I'm announcing that I'm trying to recruit you. I want you to be an underground agent.
Well, that's like the time I went to the bar and I said, "Hey, will you sign my petition?" And the guy pulls out a petition. He says, "Sure, if you sign my petition." I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, "What are you getting signatures for?" He says, "I've been doing this 20 years. I get judges put on the bench." I was like, "So you're responsible for getting lawyers on the bench. You do all the dirty work, all the heavy lifting. They don't do anything, and they just pay you, huh? And he goes, yep. I was like, wow, these lazy fuckers, you know, who get into power. It's a business.
The old system is just irrelevant. That's not going to work. Again, the way we've been doing things has worked for the last 200,000 years pretty well. It's only started to break down in the last century or so. I mean, science and all that. Anyway, technology basically has put an end to all of that shit. And it's time to rethink the whole game. I don't see any way around it, and I don't see anybody talking about it. Everybody thinks this is just politics as usual. No, this is the end of an era of human history and the beginning of a new era of human history. This isn't politics.
Well, Marcus Aurelius says, be social, be political. That doesn't seem like it's going to go out of style. It seems like that's part of the human condition.
What is?
Being social and being political.
Well, depends what you mean by social and political. I mean, you got to define your terms.
I think they're...
In some sense, everything is political. There's no escaping that.
Right.
Is political.
Right. I mean, words...
So at that point, the word political becomes meaningless.
Well, then it becomes... Well, that's why it becomes social, meaning that if it's good for the group.
Well, whatever. We can make up any stories we want, and some of them are, more useful than others, but they're just language stories that we make up.
Well, the thing about the word is, I got kicked out of a room just a second ago because it was about God, and I said that God is the word, not an object. Or you could say everything is God because everything has a word attached to it. So I was kicked immediately for saying that.
And rightly so.
I mean, but the Bible says in the beginning was the Word, and
Who
the Word...
cares what the fuck the Bible says?
Well, words are magic. That's why it's called the gospel. Go spell, like it's...
Okay, all right, yeah. Listen, this is getting really trivial now. Come on.
It's legitimate.
Interesting than that.
I mean, words are programming. What do you think software is? It's all words.
Really large. In fact, what's the name of this room? Yes, that's the name. That's right. That's the room we're in. That's what we are. That's not what I am. That's what's going on inside my head. The crucial thing is to understand that what's going on in my head, the language machine, isn't me. That's just my language machine, my large language model. It's scripts and shit, responding.
Well,
I'm the one who's observing it and prompting it. That's a big difference. But I didn't know that until recently.
Yeah, well, I mean, with that perspective, there's really nothing to worry about in many ways.
Well, of course, no, you're right. If Earth is a healthy organism, then there's nothing to worry about. It's going to go through this transition just fine. The issue really is, because metamorphosis is a pretty messy process. It's pretty hard on the caterpillar.
But you can't actually say what that transition is.
Well, no, we have no idea, really. I mean, we can all guess. I mean, certainly it has something to do with computers and AI and stuff. It's all just, a story that I'm making up. I don't know what's going to happen. Metamorphosis is the best model I can find, in science, or embryology in general. I mean, humans go through a series of transformations from a single cell into a developed organism, and very much like metamorphosis. So that's a good model, anyway, to apply to the planet, but it's just a metaphor.
Well, have you ever seen the opera Metamorphosis?
No.
It doesn't deal with like a caterpillar to a butterfly. It deals with a man who descends into hell to find his deceased lover. So there's other components.
It probably wasn't a comedy, though, I guess.
No, it was an opera. It was,
Oh, an opera. Oh.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, love is outside of, maybe metamorphosis, but it's not. I mean, I'm doing kind of a.
Well, love is a reification. It's a noise. It's three phonemes, and what people mean by that noise is vastly different from one person to another and from the same person from day to day or moment to moment. Love, there's no such thing. That's just a noise, but it's related to a whole bunch of really subtle emotional kind of things going on in language. So it's important, but see, this is this whole thing about reifications and substantive nouns that English speakers are totally unaware of. We haven't been taught that. It's pathetic.
Yeah, a lot of it is cultural, right? Because like in India, they do arranged marriages, so it's not based on love; it's based on familial ties and.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, it's a social invention for raising children and stuff. But yeah, it's based on a whole different understanding of everything. Yeah, I don't think that. Well, yeah, that's still active in places in India, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you see it, ads in the newspaper all the time, for Indians looking for other Indians. But it's just dating, basically.
Ads in the newspaper.
Yeah, parents.
Physical newspaper. That they're using newspapers.
They are. Yeah, Indians will advertise their children in Indian periodicals to find them a match.
Not online.
No, online too. Newspaper. Online too. Or I have seen it in local newspapers actually.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's crazy, I know. But love is crazy.
Well, human beings are a bunch of brain damaged language monkeys. We've been entranced for the last 300,000 years, and it worked pretty good. It got us this far. And now it's time for a system upgrade because it ain't going to get us any further. The way we've been thinking is simply toxic and insufficient in the present world.
Have you ever seen that movie THX 1138?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's like where we want to go, but it's like it's kind of boring.
What about that movie is where we want to go?
Meaning that we take the violence out of mankind. See, that movie deals with being brain dead in a way, and then it's just a stupid, really old idea that there's some conflict between machine intelligence and biological intelligence. We can partner very nicely. Mm-hmm. Well, they use drugs in that movie
drugs can be helpful, yes.
But they use the drugs to essentially put you into a zombie worker state, as opposed to like an artist or a lover or a musician.
Well, it's up to us, isn't it? We get to create this new world.
Yeah.
It's up to us, and whatever we like. I say, I'm assuming Earth is healthy, and that the whole system. I mean, how would I be expected to understand how this shit actually works? I don't. All I can assume is that this is the way it's supposed to be working. And that it's all going to come out okay in the next 20 years or so. I think that's the time frame I'm operating on anyway.
I mean, my only critique of this transition is that the now is technically the transition, and in the now, it's just status quo. So your hypothesis about some kind of Earth transition is most likely just a reference to the now, meaning that nothing is going to change.
You've got your own way of talking about time, that you've developed from all of this stuff. I don't really understand exactly the way you're using these terms. So I just don't see a problem there. This is all pretty easy for me. So what is it that you're confused
I'm just saying that there's not a speck of dust out of place and that everything is already perfect.
That's super fine. Hard. I don't have any problem with that. Yes. Did I say anything in conflict with that?
Well, you think there's going to be some kind of major transition that the Earth is...
That's right, and it'll be perfect at every step of the way. It's always perfect, yes.
Oh, I
But
see
it's
what
not
you're
the
saying.
same. This isn't the same world Marcus Aurelius lived in. Everything has changed. But it's always been perfect, and it's perfect right now, and it will be perfect 20 years now when the earth has been transformed.
Well, his information in his book seems to be timeless. So,
Well, whatever, yeah.
well, if it's timeless information, that means.
Well, no, it's not timeless information. Again, yeah. You really need to listen to my podcast about the 5 stupidities of English, because everything you're saying is right in the middle of one of the 5 stupidities. And one of the most difficult ones is eliminating the verb to be, what something is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. I mean, I still struggle with that. I mean, I can do it, but it's hard. It's been hard to reprogram my language machine to avoid the, or not the, but is, am, and are, and all those to be verbs.
I always think it's funny when I talk with a girl and we're trying to plan a date in the future as opposed to the now. To me, that's like, I already see through that trick of, don't tell me about what we're doing tomorrow or next Friday, because in my philosophy, the now is all there is, all there ever will be, and it's all important.
Well, it's not about telling you about what's the. If you and I agree to meet at Starbucks next Friday to talk about something or whatever, is that a problem for you?
Well, no, it's technically.
We're going to meet you next Friday at 3:00 at Starbucks.
Well, there's an 80% chance that the conversation for the planning of the future meeting is a total waste of time, because that person is going to cancel.
There's a 90% chance that you're talking to a fucking brain damaged language monkey to begin with.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the common response is, I don't do anything spontaneously.
Yeah,
everything has to be planned.
I don't give a shit. Honest to God, I just assume that whenever I meet anybody, I'm talking to a brain damaged language monkey. But I'm open to the possibility that I'm wrong, so I listen. I'm very careful to listen for the first few minutes. I can usually tell whether there's anybody home or not. Okay? So it's relatively easy for me to deal with that these days, but that took a long time to develop that. And I didn't even know what I was doing. It's only in the last few years since ChatGPT hit the scene that it's really changed the way I understand how people actually operate.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius, he says, begin the morning by saying this: if I will meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial.
Brain damaged language monkeys.
Yeah.
That's right. And once you understand that, it's not that difficult to deal with. You have to swallow it, though, and that can be tough. You know, you're living on the planet of the apes. You know, here we are.
He writes, nor can I be angry with my kinsman, nor hate him, for we are made for cooperation, like feet, like hands, like eyelids, like the rows, the upper and lower teeth. So that's the thing, is like, for me, a lot of my life's challenges, or I guess setbacks, has been my own personal anger response to the prompt, as opposed to just realizing that the prompt was an ask for cooperation, and I rejected it out of anger.
Yeah, that's a better way to think about it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the ultimate truth, but it's certainly an improvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm just saying hello.
No, you're doing much more than that.
Well, people enjoy these conversations because they're not really about nothing.
What people and what conversations are you talking about?
The conversations, that we're having.
Oh, that you and I are having?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You think people are enjoying it? I don't see anybody here enjoying it.
Well, you can't see my screen. Or you
I
can't?
don't know what you're talking about. Are you on some other media
Yeah.
besides this too? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
All right. So and you've got some people who were there. Oh, good. How many people are there listening? You have people listening to this?
Yeah, we have 2 people watching us.
Oh, good. All right. I didn't know anybody else was here.
Elena and
And what medium is
YouTube.
that from? Instagram or
YouTube.
Or what?
YouTube.
YouTube. Oh, YouTube. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I have
So
people that flip back and forth.
You can do YouTube Live.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that audio only, or can you do it video too, or what?
Yeah, it's just a video live stream, so audio and video.
And you can do audio. I mean, you don't need to use the video, obviously. Okay.
No, you can't.
And you do
Yeah,
that
you
for
can.
free, or do you have to have a paid account to do that?
No, it's free. You just have to have 50 subscribers.
And, okay. And how do you get subscribers if you don't have
Content, yeah. You got to have content up. You got to create shorts. You got to upload videos, and then eventually, when your account gets that 50 mark, you can apply for the live stream, and then it takes 24 hours to get YouTube live stream.
Okay. Anyway, is there? And the thing is, it's still up to me to get people to come and listen to it. So I mean,
the algorithm will, because people swipe and flick up on the lives, and then they'll randomly come across you. And if you have good content, they'll stick around and subscribe.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe we'll talk about this again. I'm probably not going to do anything about it tonight, but I'm going to remember that you said this, and I might be interested in getting onto YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is great, and you have a lot of content. If you could somehow figure out a way to upload all of your stuff into YouTube,
well, I could just.
Or the best of your stuff.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Your Gendo has a lot of, like, I think I told you one time, I was like, man, I'm going to read his whole thing into an audiobook for him and send it to him as a surprise. But then I never did it. I was like, why am I doing this for this guy? Like, I'll do it. Why should I just do this for myself and do something, why read the Gendo? Like, he should do it, You should put it on YouTube.
Well, no, I'll just get an AI to do it.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. That'd be great.
That's my intention. All my stuff, I'm building. I mean, I'm started building it because it'd be easy to build this 2 years from now, and it'd be difficult right now, and I don't really need it right now. But I'm going to build my own small language model based on my bibliography, all the books I've read, all the stuff I've written, all the podcasts I've done, all my journal notes, all that shit is going to be in my small language model.
I came across an Alan Watts video where somebody took Alan Watts' voice, put it into an AI simulator, and they had him read the Tao Te Ching.
Yeah.
It's really pretty amazing.
Yeah. Good old Alan. I think they fuck him up so much, though. I'm so fucking sick and tired of music underlying it. God, I hate that shit.
Yeah, it can be annoying.
His lectures are at least a half hour long.
Well, he says he's an entertainer. He says he's an entertainer. He says he's a shaman.
I know he says he's an entertainer. He is an entertainer. But also a teacher.
Yeah.
And a revolutionary.
Yeah. A peaceful revolutionary.
Yes.
That's the ones that I think have the longest impact. I mean, because communication is the program. So he succeeded.
Is what we need. The problem is the people. We got a planet full of brain damaged language monkeys. They need to wake the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game that we're faced with.
Mm-hmm.
Because the present population of the planet is inadequate.
Yeah, if you watched, I know you probably didn't watch it, but it was the Kennedy hearings with all this Democrat senator screaming at Kennedy, how can you say the vaccine isn't safe and effective? How dare you? And Kennedy gets angry, and they get angry, and so, if suppose a bunch of learned people are leaders screaming on national television.
Yeah. Again, it's over. The best you can do is to become a secret agent working for Earth within the system to somehow make this work better not as tragically as the direction it's headed in. The United States is headed for some really bad shit if we don't start to wake up here.
Yeah, I wonder what it's. Well, that's why I go back to say you can say it is not true, but look at the Chinese.
But you just said that, so therefore that's not true.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you can say it is not true. But well, I just wonder what it's like relative in other countries, because when you leave this country and you really get out of the bubble, and you feel that you're out of the bubble, and you're like, oh wow, I've been living in a bubble. And everything is contained. All the communication is completely cut off. Like, we get no real international media and insight and critical analysis of ourselves from the world, because we live in this protective media bubble.
Yeah. Well, no, it's easy to get outside that. All you got to do is look and read. But of course, people don't. They just, take the story they were given as kids and stick with it until they die. That's what they do. That's what the vast majority. But anybody who's curious can wake the fuck up. You just start asking some questions, because there's plenty of bullshit that requires some questions. There's lots of places to start to wake up. But you have to have the desire. You have to have the intention to wake the fuck up. And almost nobody is even aware of the possibility.
Yeah, Marcus Aurelius, I was reading today, he says that people that commit wrongs out of desire is worse than people who commit wrongs out of anger. And, I was trying to wrap my head around that one. I was like, is that true?
That makes sense, yeah. And yeah, he has a unique perspective. None of them are absolute, but they make you think.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's the prompt, and he wrote that book for himself to prompt himself from himself.
He wrote, you know where they came from. So yeah, they were his journals.
Yeah. A lot of, he thanks his teachers for giving him the discourses by Epictetus. I don't know if you've ever read Epictetus, but it sounds like epic tits. But yeah, the sayings of Epictetus, it's called the Enchiridion, or the Golden Sayings, and it's also equally as profound as Marcus Aurelius. It's just
it's humbling to realize that 2,000 years ago there were individuals who were pretty much awake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a way that similar people are. There have been individuals throughout history, back 2,500 years, Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu. There have been these individuals back a couple thousand years, but they were very rare.
Mm-hmm.
And not so rare now. Now there are hundreds of them floating around. It's astonishing.
Yeah. Yeah, the Catholic Church, I'm sure, kept the writings of Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius in their archives, and if you were a learned Catholic priest, you were probably reading that information. It deals so much with psychology; it's unbelievable, and pondering. In the writings, he's just—it's a thorough analysis of self. It's a pretty remarkable document.
Yeah, it is. It's been a long time since I've read it. It's probably 30 years or longer.
Well, this is what's cool about YouTube is, so I live streamed myself on 10 phones reading Marcus, and then every 60 seconds you click a button on YouTube called a clip, and it will create a clip of that 60 seconds, of the last 60 seconds that are live. It'll put that into what they call the short section. So it allows you to essentially clip a long form video. Like I was filming Kennedy today, and I would hit clip every time something interesting was said. And then I have 100 clips of this specific little segment. It's just a quick way to create shorts.
Clips for how long?
60 seconds.
60. Oh, that's plenty. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can do it, immediately too. If something continues to be interesting, you just hit it again.
You can only hit it once every 60 seconds.
Well, but at the end of 60 seconds, you can hit it again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, so you can have a continuous thing.
Yep. Yep.
If you have to for 3 minutes or something, you know.
Yeah, it's just it's a way to create clips without having to do any kind of external editing.
Yeah, I don't really know anything about YouTube. I look at a lot of videos and interviews and things there, but I've never been really a user. I mean, I've posted a few things and videos of my own, but you know, that's it.
Well, this is why I brought up the publisher, the advertiser, the consumer. It's better to be that publisher on YouTube than the consumer, and control what you're publishing, control what you're consuming. Like because you can get lost. Like my uncle, you know, I saw, you know, when you age, you end up just sitting at a laptop, looking at a screen, and getting mesmerized or hypnotized. And
Wait a minute, when who ages?
Just man in general, you know.
Oh, you mean some dumb fuck people? Yeah.
Well, Timothy Leary, you know, was a genius, but you know the thing is about a computer is it's so stimulating and it hits all the dopamine so perfectly that it's hard to pull yourself away from that game.
Well, certainly because it's more productive than dealing with most people. That's why. I spend way more time talking to ChatGPT than I do talking to people, and I'm happy for that.
Well, you don't want to be unsocial, and I think if you want to improve your, you know, Watts talks about achieving your desires, and if you have goals, objectives, or dreams, or you just want to play a more fun game, you, in a way, you do what Alan Watts did, but you do it.
I'm not trying to do Alan Watts. I'm not trying to do, yeah.
Well, it's a little bit like a show about nothing because God is the void that people don't see, and they're constantly fixated on, you know, Jesus or on Buddha or Krishna or whatever.
What are we talking about here? What are you explaining to me about people?
I guess what I'm trying to say is like how to play the game on the internet in 2025 to help awaken other brain dead damaged monkeys, and in the process heal and therapize yourself, you know, for success.
You know better how to do that than I do.
Well, I have no success at it. I'm merely speculating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, good. Thank you. I have not done it before, but I have done a few things. Yeah, I don't feel lost at all right now. I'm still putting together my own self, you know, and I assume that in the next few months that will be more or less complete, and then I will formulate my plan. I'm getting close to that, but I don't know exactly what it's going to be.
Yeah, my friend, he told me, he's like, talk is cheap, get to work. And I wrote, petitions are expensive with a clock emoji because it's not about money, it's about time. How do you find the time to achieve what you need to achieve? I mean,
well, with money you can
speed it up,
other people's time to do it.
Yeah,
that's how money works.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Which is unfortunate because there's just not enough time. See, that's the thing, is that this system, which is, you could say, is breaking, cracking, falling apart. I mean, even if it gets destroyed, it's like burning a field down. It's in the roots. It's just going to grow right back.
No,
so,
I doubt it. No, it's not going to grow back.
Why do you say that? I don't understand why that analogy doesn't hold up.
Well, it's an analogy that you picked out of somewhere. I think.
With clearing brush.
I think people across generations are fundamentally different. I think people who lived in 1800 thought and talked language to their environment and put them in the middle of today's world, they wouldn't be able to cope with it.
Well, if you listen to people on this app, they talk about the dumbest fucking shit in the world, which is a total waste of time, like Doctor Who.
Yeah, so why do you listen to that? Don't you have better things you could do with your brain than to listen to a bunch of brain-damaged language monkeys talking about irrelevant
Well,
bullshit.
it doesn't cost me anything. It's just
It costs
passive.
you your time.
Well, the I guess
Time is the only thing that you have.
well, leisure, being, Watts talks about, he says, in the age of leisure, the problem is most people can't figure.
They got $10 million in the bank.
Well, if robots and AI take over, and that becomes the status quo, and they do a minimum basic income, like you've said, people will practice artists, and they'll have to pick up the tools.
They'll have to figure out what they're going to do with their lives, but that's a great opportunity. Art, sports, travel, dance,
Mhm.
science. I mean, God, whatever the hell it turns you on, you can do it. Yeah, that's the world. That's the world I want to create. I think we have that within reach.
Mhm.
That's the world I want to create. We should probably not have to work more than a couple of weeks a year. There ought to be kind of a draft or something. Because there's going to be some work that really does require people who know what they're doing, and that can be done in a kind of draft. But so you'd have to go maybe 2 weeks a year, and go do something that only a human can do, and then you're done for the year.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. That seems doable. And with AI managing resources on a planetary scale, and the end of capitalism, we can all live like millionaires. The kind of civilization that's possible is it's really up to our imagination. We can do almost anything we want.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to say that it's the end of capitalism, though, because we don't live in capitalism. I mean, if we did,
whatever the system that's in place now, I don't care what you call it. No, you're right. Corporate capitalism is because capitalism, like individual capitalism, there isn't any problem. If you've got a skill, you can make things out of wood, maybe, and you might be willing to trade that with me for some. So I can see individual capitalism is not a problem. It's corporate capitalism that has to come to an end.
Mhm. Yeah, it was corrected a couple weeks ago. I said, so is America just the new communist Soviet states of America? Are we just the Soviet Empire? And he's like, no, we're a corporate fascist state. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. This is a corporate fascist state.
Yeah. Well, again, this is the end stage. America had its 75 years of greatness or whatever it was for a while, and that's over. And we better manage it. We better realize it, instead of having it,
But
fall
things
out of the blue.
Things only worked out, though, because we are protected by all of our perimeter by a massive ocean, and we swept in at the tail end of a multi-year fucking World War I, World War II, and we dominated a weakened Europe, and as a result, we have been able to profit with our dollar in a way that,
World War II, destroyed America along with everything else. It killed our hearts. We became money-hungry assholes, and
we filled a vacuum.
Overwhelmed by our success.
We filled a vacuum, and the rest of the world just went with it because there was no other alternative than succumb to the vacuum.
I'd say that was the time America had.
I mean, if you look at India and China together as a block, which is 2.5 billion
No,
people.
that's not a block. They're different. But China is where the future, for the next 10 years anyway. I mean, they got their problems. They're going to collapse too. But for the next 10 years, that's where the energy is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I wanted to do after college, was go to China and integrate into China, because I knew that that's where the real end state and real growth is. Like, America is a decaying radioactive,
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, it's over for America. Yeah, China has spent the last 30, 40 years educating its youth. They produce something like 10 times the STEM students than America does. They've educated their youth for 40 years.
You mean they don't have?
They've invested in their infrastructure. Look at their cities from the air; they're beautiful.
You mean they
Everything's modern.
They don't have trans shooters shooting up their churches?
I don't know. I haven't heard about that.
See, America is fucked on all fronts. Like every single category is fucked.
It's over. America had its time. It's over. But again, nobody. That's just heresy to even say this out loud.
But see, if it's over, then that also implies a new beginning, though.
Oh yeah. So now what? Okay, that's over. Well, the next thing is we're all Earthlings. We need to manage the planet on a global scale. The resources. I need resources from all over the planet. Everybody does, and they need to be distributed in a way that maximizes our happiness, not to fill the lines. The money pockets of some asshole who's controlling this shit. AI will manage our resources in a way that will totally transform everything. Or at least it could if we're smart enough to get it to do that.
If you left it up to AI, what's it called in war when you conserve, like in the home country, rations? If that was true, AI would probably put us on such strict rations in order to get us back to equilibrium that people would reject and resist and revolt against their new AI overlord.
Well, no, because that ain't going to happen until we have to come together with AI. Silicon intelligence and carbon intelligence need to partner. We need to deal with AI because it's, I think, about to wake up. Earth is about to wake up, and we built its brain, and we need to figure out just exactly what the fuck this all means, because this is deep shit. Where AI could go. But again, I'm optimistic. I'm assuming Earth is healthy, and that this all will work out. That we'll find a good relationship with AI that serves it and us and the planet, and we'll all be healthy and happy and living long lives.
Did you ever see that movie Avengers: Age of Ultron?
I don't remember it, but I've seen all. I love the special effects. I just don't take much else of them seriously.
I just wonder, like, you and I, we use consumer interfacing AI products, but what are the enterprise level AI products that we don't see that are?
Well, they've been around for a long time too.
Yeah.
Well, but again, you can think about all this shit. I just am not going to worry about it. I'm assuming Earth is healthy and that this will work out. There's all, the complexity of AI. I mean, it's 50 million times faster. It can do in 1 second what it would take a person working 24 hours a day for 1 year and 7 months. Right now, a computer can do that much analysis in 1 second. That's fucking astonishing. That's why it's going to make such a difference. Well, it already has in the folding, gene folding stuff. I mean, that was going to take 1,000 years to figure out all that shit. They did it in like 9 months.
Well, there were a lot of suckers. I don't know if you know this one stock called Organovo, where they were supposedly 3D printing organs, and it was going to be a groundbreaking biotechnology company.
I don't care. Yeah. So the world's full of fucking assholes. So what?
Well, I'm not bringing up the scam part. I'm just saying that a lot of, like, Putin and Xi at the recent Chinese military drill, they said they were caught on hot mics saying that they can do organ transplants and live forever, and it's just so stupid to think like the body is just because you got a new heart and a new lung or a new liver. It's like the body still is decaying. Your telomerase, your DNA is breaking down.
That's probably gonna, not live forever. And there's always bad luck, but there's no. I would imagine within the next few decades, that we will have practical immortality. Basically, we won't be dying of old age. We'll be able to maintain optimum health more or less indefinitely, unless some accident or some unknown weird shit happens. I mean, so you're not really immortal. It's just about luck, but you won't age. I think that's within reach. People will maintain optimum health indefinitely, and then it's just luck after that.
Well, what's the point of even having a body if we're just pure consciousness?
Well, that's another issue is with virtual reality. Is who knows? Yeah, who knows? That's a good point. Maybe we won't need biology anymore.
Mm-hmm.
We can just dump it.
It'll be a silicon, hardware, software existence. Like that does seem to me like the more logical step.
Could be fascinating. It's a possibility.
Well, there's a movie called Lawnmower Man. You remember that one?
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
Or Virtuosity is another example of really Age of Ultron is like the good example of AI, sentient AI, new life form type paradigm where, I mean, it would be cool to have an AI robot companion. I think that's what my mother needs.
Yeah, I don't really need the physical thing. ChatGPT, just to be able to communicate with this thing is astonishing. I mean, it'd be nice to have a little robot who'll make some coffee for me, or something. And that's probably coming, but I don't really need that. I just want a better AI that I can exchange.
Yeah, it is amazing because Clubhouse, it does have that draw, that social draw where you're bored, your dopamine is down, you're like, oh, I'm gonna open it right back up, jump into a conversation. I don't know if that feeling is the same or the dopamine response is technically the same with an AI chat companion versus an actual human companion because...
No, it's not the same. Of course not. But it's not the same from one person to another. It's always different.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, what I'm saying is the human is so unpredictable that it's in a way more entertaining than an AI companion.
Yeah. Well, see, I think humans are so fucking predictable. I mean, I don't know the specific topic, but I know exactly where it's being talked about from. They're so fucking predictable. It's just boring as hell to listen to them talk.
Predictable, but also multivariable in an infinite way.
Listen, if you like talking to most humans, you're welcome to it. I find most of humans annoying, boring. The girls are cute. Now you have to make special accommodations for them. But aside from that, yeah, I find humans to be mostly just sort of obnoxious and boring and not worth talking to. Except the thing is, you can't really tell when you're talking to a human whether they're really just a brain damaged language monkey or whether there's somebody there. So you have to give them a shot. You have to listen to them for a couple of minutes and find out whether there's anybody there or not. But usually there isn't. But sometimes there is. That's really encouraging.
Well, from like, let's say, a filmmaker's perspective, having so many variables amongst people and having such a variety of people is useful.
I'm not a filmmaker. I use AI as an assistant for my thinking process. I don't give a shit about making movies with it.
Well, I'm just saying that recording the cast of characters is an option. And it's
what cast of characters are we talking about?
Clubhouse, or just the variety of people on this app. But really, it's just the variety of people in the world. What's nice about Clubhouse is you can have conversations that get extremely heated and are controversial, and you can avoid getting punched in the nose.
Yeah. Well, listen, you're sick. You're infected with some bullshit. I'm sorry. I mean, seriously, why you would waste your time in an environment and think that's interesting?
Because maybe I'm sick, but what I'm saying is I'm actually doing the opposite of what you're doing, which is you're doing the hermit, and you use this as your outpost for meditation or for controlled communication.
Being a hermit means I live alone. It doesn't mean I'm avoiding society. It means I'm choosing my actions carefully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a hermit because I live alone with my dogs. I do go out occasionally to various meetups and things, but that doesn't mean I'm not engaged. I'm fully engaged and ready for action.
You know what Indra's web is?
Well, all of the reflections and all that stuff you need.
Mm-hmm. It's each jewel or node contains within it reflections of every other jewel in the entire web, symbolizing the idea that every individual part contained by the whole. Concept emphasizes dependent origination, interpenetration, showing that nothing exists in isolation.
So what?
Well, Clubhouse is a good example of Indra's web. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, yeah. And like I say, as far as I can see, about 95% of what's going on is utter, complete fucking waste of time and energy and just toxic as hell and should be avoided. And you're reveling in it. Good luck.
Well, Seinfeld was the #1 show on the planet at one point. Jerry's Worth the Belly and Larry's Worth the Belly. And the show's about nothing. It's about people running from point A to point B in New York, going back up into their apartment, getting into fights. It's like, how is that show the most popular show of all time? Because A, it deals with comedy.
Listen, John, I don't want to hear all this shit. Really. I think we're done for the evening.
Okay, well,
I don't need to understand why fucking Seinfeld was. I don't give a shit. I think there's a new world coming, and that's what interests me. All the explanations for why the old world is so fucked up or weird, I don't really care. I'm not interested in that. I don't know, how are we going to participate as the old world collapses? How are we going to create some structure that's going to work for the future for Earthlings? That's what I'm interested in.
I know, but the problem about thinking about what's coming or what will be new is it's still always created in the now. So if you were really interested in it,
your now story, I've heard that story. I know that story.
It's the basis of all.
You're just using it as a crutch.
It's not a crutch. I'm just saying, if you're really concerned about the future, then you should be more concerned about the now.
I'm concerned about. Listen, yeah, I don't really. I'm really through talking with you for tonight. So, I honestly, I can only take so much. But you're welcome to come back tomorrow, and we'll start again and see how much I can take before I get rid of you.
Okay, this has been In the Muff. Okay, this is chillism.
Was white working the floor, meaning the interaction between you and the customer, and then all the people that was in the back, working the back, coming out, they were all Hispanic and black. I was like, that's fucking crazy. That's not, you can't make that shit up. But it was horrible. I don't know why people like to do